Another very rocky region, it's Route 66 that's being brought out. So I am so happy to see this kind of variety being brought into the game. The question is, how much of Route 66 are we going to see? What do you think is kind of the most difficult point to pass through on attack of Route 66?
Man, they're really all so tough on attack. I mean, that first point, they hold on top of gas. It's so hard to break that without crazy strong ult combination. Second point, high grounds once again. It's just so strong. I'd say it's a very defender-sided map in general.
And we have gotten the confirmation that Boise State is actually going to be the one attacking first, so that difficulty in taking all the third points might work out to Old Dominion's favor.
So we'll have to see it here, especially with Boise State favoring those slower compositions. They're going to have to play this very smart, trying to take those angles, because if they just try and sit main, it's not going to go too well for them on that high ground.
It's the last chance for Old Dominion to get back into the mix, to give us a chance of actually seeing Flashpoint tonight, or we're going to see the general trend of 3-0 matches continue on. We're heading down to Route 66, Boise State versus Old Dominion University. Boise State is going to be placed on attack first.
Excited to see what sort of compositions we see on this map, because, of course, Boise State, as I've said, have favored those poke ones, and it's a very strong poke map. Old Dominion, on the other hand, they seem like they like to get down and dirty. They like to get real up close. This time, not so much. It seems like a Widowmaker on the side of Old Dominion.
I mean, that Widow, as far as Boise State is concerned, has been a key pick, so sometimes the best thing to Widow is another, so if Old Dominion can use that to great effect, we could very well be seen in 4. Here we go. Boise State is going to be bringing out that Doomfist, and Clear, I mean, on Lijiang Tower, had incredible plays with the Doomfist. We'll see how that works out here on Route 66.
Seems like we were wrong. Boise State is the one defending.
Ah, excuse me. Yeah, I got the word from production that they were attacking, and I was like, that doesn't make sense to me. It seems like the teams that have generally been in the lead have been the ones that like to defend, because they're usually able to hold the other team before the first point, and they just make it a quick game anyway.
So we do, however, we were correct about Old Dominion matching the Widow. Looking to deal with the Moose, who is doing so much on King's Row.
Clear gets a pick onto Blast. It is answered back with a pick onto Moose, so Boise State's Widow is not going to get free reign as far as this team fight is concerned. Adelot is trying to make his presence known on this tank, but is trying to face Clear from every single angle. Boise State is mainly just sticking to the high ground of this gas station. Adelot is going to try to go up on the D.Va to force some of them down. And as soon as he does, Clear just moves right into the back line and takes out the squishies, all of the supports for Old Dominion. And Adelot left with the same problem he's faced multiple times tonight. No backline to keep him going.
We're doing so well on that Doomfist, keeping the D.Va in check. You know, if she flies in, she's always at risk of getting punched even further. And that's not something you want to have happen, getting shot in the back on D.Va. Can't defense matrix both sides.
No one can hide.
Good amount of ultimates available for Boise State. They're going to use one of them right now. Going to use the infrared sights, give them information on where everyone from Old Dominion is. Old Dominion's still a good ways away from a lot of their ultimates. They're just passing past 80 at their best case, but Boise State certainly has a lot more to use this fight. Moose, though, getting taken out by Adelot. It seems Old Dominion has gotten the message, take out the Bronco Widow, because she has been too much of a threat. Adelot also doing a great job taking out Daydream. Boise State is going to have to give up that team fight, and Old Dominion now makes their way toward the first checkpoint. This is an interesting situation, though. Clear is still there. He's on the other side. He is able to take out Index and is going to collapse on Old Dominion from the other side.
Yeah, now Old Dominion, they're the ones in the lead with the ults, but they get one forced out early because the D.Va goes down. Blastex is soon to follow.
Clear picks up a double, getting rid of Blast and Adelot. Joka Joey trying to even things up with a pick onto Clear. But at that point, even though it is Boise State's tank that has been taken out, person advantage is just too much for Old Dominion to overcome.
They're doing so well on that Doomfist to prioritize the back line, picking them off before they can respond to it. Going for the grapple shot. The D.Va's right next to him, but the D.Va doesn't see it.
Now Clear is going to find himself all alone again. If Old Dominion can collapse on him fast enough, which they do, this is a big opening for them. They're able to take out Moose, getting rid of the healing pylons left by the Illari. Boise State is all retreating right now. They have gotten back to the point, and Old Dominion has enough time to make their way to the checkpoint, fairly even as far as Olds are concerned. We're seeing a skirmish fight between Clear. He wants to go in again with the nano boost placed onto him by Daydream. How much damage can he do? He takes out Joka Joey, but Old Dominion has managed to get to the first checkpoint and have a whole lot of time added back to their bank despite this double that Chosen has gotten.
Yeah, I'm getting flashbacks to the first map. Boise State forgets about the point and Old Dominion is able to capture it.
Just keep the game going by any means necessary.
A little bit of a spawn hold coming out from Boise State though, setting up the angles. Nano Blade in their favor. It's going to be really hard for Boise State to deal with it without a sleep dart in this composition.
Right now, Adelot just trying to make as much space as he can for Old Dominion University. Joka Joey and hey, it's Lion gets taken out. That Nanoblade is going to have to wait just a little longer, and I don't know if it's time that Old Dominion can afford. Boise State also sitting on a copy and a captive Sun, which is quite dangerous in the hands of Lyric. Moose also on fire, taking out Blast and Index, unless you're peeking out as a full team with a purpose. Moving into open ground is such a risky proposition with Boise State's Widow, especially since this infrared sight has been popped. Gonna move in and get sleep darted with the blade! Old Dominion, probably the best chance they had at taking this back, gets shut down in one foul swoop. Props to Daydream for landing that sleep dart right at the most key moment that it needed to hit.
Yeah, now Old Dominion, not much left in their bank. In Boise State, they've given up 0 meters in a minute and a half so far. 2 ults in their composition. The Doom ult they could engage early with. Old Dominion can't even make it out of spawn.
It's just a rough situation all around for Old Dominion University. Clear is just going to solo ult right onto anyone who dares peek their head out of the spawn. Well, Sleep Dart does get thrown onto Clear. The copy is brought out by Chosen. Clear eliminated. Chosen taken out of their copy. Old Dominion needs to make it happen. It's right now. Trying to chase after Daydream, who's very low on health. They are going to manage to land the melee and get back to the payload, so it isn't over quite yet. We'll have one more fight.
However, there is only 10 seconds on the clock, so if Old Dominion loses just one fight, that will be the end of their push.
Adelot gets a great pick onto Moose, getting rid of that key Widow. A lot more space gained for them, a lot more safety and peeking out around corners. And Old Dominion also has a huge ultimate advantage brought up as well. They have the copy, self-destruct, Kitsune Rush. Daydream uses the nano boost, but Boise and Clear is going to be able to take out Lion. Old Dominion starts using their ultimates in response. They bring out the Kitsune Rush and the self-destruct. Trying to stick it out on point. Blast takes out Daydream. Going around the corner, neither team is at full strength to fight this fight, but it's the last chance for Old Dominion. Clear eliminating Blast X, and they're having the same problem once they come out of spawn. Boise State collapses on them. And that is it for Old Dominion's first push.
Clear on the Doomfist there once again. Once he gets that first support, rush to the fight, he's just chasing the second one around. The Kiriko tries to teleport away, tries to use Suzu, but eventually the cooldown cycling is in the favor of the Doomfist, and she goes down, and the rest of the team follows suit. It's a great punch from Clear there. You saw the Genji dashes in, gets punched away immediately out of range.
Well, Old Dominion kind of faces a two-pronged... They face two goals that they have to overcome almost simultaneously as they push out from their spawn. They're getting heavily focused by this Widowmaker, so I mean, they've got to find a way to take the Widow out, and then they've got to find a way to just isolate this tank from Boise State, because Clear, especially on this Doomfist, is just moving all over the playfield, taking Old Dominion from every single angle, wreaking havoc on their squishies. So I mean, you got to think, you either got to have something that can just shut him down entirely, you know, maybe hit him with a sleep dart, which we have seen Old Dominion do a good amount of times, or maybe you just really heavily focus. I mean, if you know Clear is going to come into your territory, why not place a Zen Orb on him and push it down? If he's off his cooldown and you're able to just bring him down, I think that would be, again, Boise State kind of loves to showboat. Clear loves to go very far into enemy territory. If Old Dominion can take advantage of that, they have a chance.
Old Dominion going for a spawn hold here, just trying to get as many fights as possible. They will fall early though. They're just trying to draw out the clock. Old Dominion, they really love just playing around that point, drawing timeout or forcing the point, trying to get checkpoints. Through backcapping or Boise State forgetting about the point a couple times.
Old Dominion did do a good job, though, of making sure that they're not staggered. They all went in, and the few remaining stragglers, there really was, everyone made sure to int on point when they needed to. So kind of that problem that we saw Adelot having before, where it could kind of be staggered out by him tanking it out too much on point, didn't come this time, so they'll have a clean re-engage moving on in.
Clear immediately gets a click onto the Widow. It's going to be hard now. Moose is uncontested. He can do whatever he... Oh, Chosen is actually on Widow. I lied.
And here's exactly what I'm saying. Clear is just taking them from behind, and they're having a hard time dealing with him. They have to find a way to shut him down, or else they're going to be fighting a fight on two fronts. Clear is so low on health, but charges up the Meteor Strike and is able to keep on fighting. Joka Joey gets rid of Chosen. Adelot takes out Clear. I don't know if they just have enough raw manpower to keep on moving. That Tracer is having to recall, get out of there. Moose sets the dynamite on themselves before bringing out Bob. Adelot is going to be able to tank it a little bit with that immortality field, but Bob is still out on the play field, which means they have to kind of hang behind this billboard.
Chosen on, I mean, Clear on the Doomfist. The more they look at him, the less they're looking at the snipers on the side of Boise State. They're allowed to free shoot. There's so much space for them to pop off.
Clear is also going to get a whole lot of healing placed onto him by Lyric. Daydream has the Valkyrie online, but Joey gets a key pick onto Chosen, but it is traded back because Clear is just doing Clear things and getting right in the face of Old Dominion like he has this whole game. Just seems like a stall game at this point. Keep Old Dominion to those narrow doorways. And Addison has Adelot having a whole lot of damage being placed onto him. Last does have that captive son that he could possibly use. Clear is eliminated with the tank on. Is this the green light for Old Dominion to move in? They certainly have as many ultimates as they could want. Daydream gets a res onto Lyric and successfully gets away. Meanwhile, Chosen goes into the back line of Old Dominion, takes out the Baptiste and then the Hanzo. So even with the threat of Clear gone, the rest of Boise State can also be a force to reckon with.
Seems like Adelot's going for a sneaky Orisa ult here. He goes on the point. He is scouted. He gets hacked out of it.
That and the Hanzo ult isn't going to do anything. That's really unfortunate. I mean, Old Dominion had 4 ultimates to use and maybe try to overpower Boise, but in the end, Boise State was able to capture the victory and is going to capture this 3-0. Just one more play of the game, and it goes on to what has been a prime target for Old Dominion. And this just shows why, because when Moose was allowed free reign on this Widowmaker, made it so that Old Dominion couldn't even get out of spawn.
Great shots coming out there from Moose. Boise State are the champion, or the winners.
They are going to, well, the champions for this game.
Yeah.
For the season, that's a bit of a different
Yeah.
story. We have a ways to go on that one. That's going to do it for this match. We still have one more for the night that we will get to. Before we do, though, we will take a break and then be back with the final match of today. Will we be able to see an upset by the underdog and see this go to game 4 or 5? I sure hope so. But for now, we will take a short break and be back with more NACE Star League after this. Being used, including the Photon Barrier on Old Dominion's side. All but one ultimates have been used. The Terror Surge still available for Old Dominion. Boise State and Old Dominion have both lost one in this fight. 4v4. Old Dominion has gained a lot of charge. Now it's going to bring out the Terror Surge to lead Chosen from the playfield. But Boise State, with Chosen in the luxury of being able to use the first ultimate, that artillery fire from Joey, could prove decisive. They try the Symmetric Teleport, but Clear reads it and pushes them off the edge with a double. A double! And it's just keeping the eliminations going. He gets the double environmental, follows
Here, something fishy has Old Dominion, but the Orisa ultimate is able to deny a lot of those if they go early with it, but be comboed with the Nano Boost.
not just the Orisa ult, it could be the Illari ult, but that is a huge barrage brought out by the Broncos. Old Dominion makes their way back to the point. Is going to
Just by hitting those two buttons. You see Old Dominion looking to clear the high from Boise State. Moose just keeps getting picks. He just can't stop.
And all this staggering that's being placed onto Old Dominion, they cannot destruct. Trying to stick it out on point. Blast takes out Daydream. Going around the corner, neither team is at full strength to fight this fight, but it's the last chance for Old Dominion. Clear eliminating Blastex, and they're having the same problem once they come out of spawn. Boise State collapses on them. And that is an index, unless you're peeking out as a full team with a purpose. Moving into open ground is such a risky proposition with Boise State's Widow, especially since this infrared sight has been popped. Gonna move in and get sleep darted with the blade! Old Dominion, probably the best chance they had at taking. Loves to showboat. Clear loves to go very far into enemy territory. If Old Dominion can take advantage of that, they have a chance.
Yeah, Old Dominion going for a spawn hold here, just trying to get as many fights as possible. They will fall early though. They're just trying to draw out the clock. Old Dominion.
They certainly have as many ultimates as they could want. Daydream gets a res onto Lyric and successfully gets away. Meanwhile, Chosen goes into the back line of Old Dominion, takes out the Baptiste and then the Hanzo. So even with the threat to capture this 3-0, just one more play of the game and it goes on to what has been a prime target for Old Dominion. And this just shows why, because when Moose was allowed free reign on this Widowmaker, made it so that Old Dominion couldn't even get out of